and there was my foot making an imprint in solid rock, because it was really, just as the nun said, it was sinking. At the age of 3, I was able to tell my previous lives. I was able to name my former sister. But now suppose I told you that I can remember all my former lives. Is anyone going to believe me? Therefore, just let's say that I was able to remember when I was a little boy.
Such paranormal powers among master yogis are thought to include the ability to self-govern the process of transition from one life to the next.
This is very often you can see in many good practitioners. Most of the people die. After die, you can change your face, the yellow pale, and when you do the pinch in your skin, also they will stay there. But the real practitioner who has when the passing and the meditation state, they continue their stay. Then you pinch in here, this also like now, and they immediately going like this. And also they have a little bit heat and warm and heart center. Also the face is like the lap light, and very unusual one, and happened that my story is just 1 year ago, and Bhutan, one of Master Ginjun Renchin. So he stayed more than 1 month, and they never changed.
For aspiring yogis, events such as these imply control over the process of reincarnation. Even His Holiness the Dalai Lama has stated that if the Chinese communists are still governing Tibet at the time of his death, he will choose rebirth outside of Tibet. Controlling the process of one's own death and rebirth is the subject of some of the most fascinating stories surrounding Tibet's yogis. Lama Drupon Semten recalls vividly one such event in his early years as a student, the death of his own teacher, Kemgor Rinpoche.
This is my teacher, Kemgor Rinpoche. He invited all the students. He told he's going to pass away. No illness, nothing sign of death, nothing. He just normally get up, do his prayer, and he told his attendant to make a good tea. And then he make a tea over and over and until he's satisfied. And he says, all this prayer together. And when he get to the completion state, he says, this is the time for me to pass away. And just like a falling asleep, like a Buddha, no? Just he put his right hand under his chest and then lie down and look at each person. No, he's doing prayer for each person to benefit in the future. And he passed away.
Telling stories such as these, indeed revealing any technique, tradition, or experience to someone who has not completed yogic training, was once a violation of yogic vows to extreme secrecy. The reason was to maintain the purity of the teachings. The fear was that, taken out of context, exotic forms of yoga and meditation might degenerate into ego-centered showmanship. And in the eyes of the elders, the opening up that is taking place now is seen as a significant risk. When His Eminence Drupon Rinpoche was asked about the cutting of his hair, a practice known to signify that a yogi is preparing to die, he displayed the stubborn elusiveness of a yogi under strict vow.
There are many reasons why a person in retreat would grow hair. Let me think about it. Yeah, there are many reasons why one would grow one's hair long. Let's just forget about it, shall we? A good number of things happened to me. It will just boil down to misleading people. Forget it. You know, I just cut it because I am old, and the hair was really hefty and weighing me down. That's why I chopped it off. I have pledged not to mislead people. Now, if I told you a whole lot of tall tales, that will amount to misleading the audience. I have absolutely nothing whatsoever, and I have nothing to tell you. This is the first time I have been asked to tell about these things. We are not supposed to reveal the ins and outs of what goes on inside a meditation cave. If we do, then there will be consequences. The past masters, including Tilopa, have categorically said there was never an instance where he revealed the secrets of meditation. We who follow in their footsteps must do the same.
Although it is known that Zhuang Rinpoche did cut his hair in preparation for death, His Holiness the Dalai Lama asked him to live a little longer to help pass on and preserve Tibetan teachings. It is said that His Eminence agreed to do so and has decided to live until the age of 100 to help his people. Beyond feats of mental, physical, or even supernatural control, perhaps the most impressive accomplishment of the Tibetan yogis is maintaining a stance of compassion and peace through a half-century of persecution. The teachings of loving your enemies and praying for those who persecute you are familiar in the West, but are, few would argue, among the hardest to practice. Skeptics may well point out that feelings of love and peace may be easily generated when you're by yourself in a cave, but not when you're coping with the human conflict inherent in real life. Yet, the claims of the Tibetan yogis have been put to the extreme test in the Chinese Holocaust. How does one retain compassion in the face of raw cruelty?
Some use the ancient the text stated or says, one's own enemy is the best teacher. Now, one example. So one old monk who in previously the Namgyal monastery, one monk of the Namgyal monastery. Now he spent almost 18 years in Chinese Gulag after 59. So after he released from the camp, eventually he joined with me here. So then one day I casually asked about his experience in the Gulag. Then he told me a few occasions he faced some danger. And I asked, what kind of danger? I thought danger of his life or something like that. Then he answered me, danger of losing compassion towards Chinese. So, we as a practitioner, we deliberately should try to keep compassionate attitude towards one's own enemy is very essential.
I don't blame the people of China. I blame their policy or their culture because it's a communist culture. The culture is at fault, not the people. In the ways of what we call samsaric beings, in the ways of the ordinary people, lay people, if I followed that, yes, obviously, yes, there would be sadness in my heart. And there were a lot of sufferings that were brought about to a lot of people and to myself. But as a practitioner who believes in the cause and effect, I'm a very, very happy person. I have no grudge against anybody. I have no grudge against the Chinese people or the Chinese government. Whatever befell on an individual, it was because of his past karma. Unhappiness does not crop up out of nowhere.